What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to go over something specific that I get asked numerous times pretty much in every single stream. That is going to be preparing for Phase 5, and specifically we're going to be looking at the Darkmantle Set. Now, at the beginning of World of Warcraft Classic, we actually noticed something that kind of caught most people off guard, and that was just how often the Shadowcraft 6-piece set bonus procced. And that set bonus is to give an extra 35 energy on weapon swing, and the proc rate was actually significantly more than we had expected. It's a lot higher than it was on private servers, and as well, I believe it might be higher than we thought it was in Classic or Original Vanilla, but we don't really have the numbers from back then. With Phase 5 comes the upgraded version of your Shadowcraft set, and that is called the Darkmantle Set. For this gear set, it actually only requires 4 pieces for you to get that same bonus that you were getting from the 6-piece Shadowcraft. So you have to sacrifice less. They have a lot better stats than the Shadowcraft pieces did. And so from there, we have to go in and look and see exactly how good is the Darkmantle set. Is rocking 4-piece Darkmantle gonna be the new BIS? And we're actually gonna dive deep into the numbers today, and we're gonna be able to tell you exactly how good the Darkmantle set is. So here we are, guys. My name is Sarth. Welcome to the channel, and let's get right into it. So right before we get into the meat of the video today, I do want to quickly say thank you for everybody that tuned in to my Twitch channel on Tuesday. It was actually the first time that I got to live on Nefarian, and I finally took the number 2 rogue spot back on my server. So it's the first time I've actually lived on Nef. We still haven't seen the tier 2 chest dropping, but I'm not as disappointed as I should be because there is the Darkmantle set coming out soon, and I will show you exactly why. So to start things off, the Darkmantle set is the actual upgraded version of your Shadowcraft. This is known as the tier 0.5 set. I'll make a little guide going specifically on exactly how to get this set, but you go through a quest line to unlock the different pieces of this set. You have to unlock all of the pieces in the set in the specific order that the quest lines go through, and to do that you need to also have all of the Shadowcraft pieces and more, but I'm not going to get exactly into that today. One more thing I do want you guys to know is that you should always be wary. We're going to go through all of the numbers today, and this is assuming that the proc rate is going to be exactly the same as the Shadowcraft proc rate. If there's one thing we've learned from Classic so far, it is that proc rates can be a lot different than what we expect. Apparently, from some of the reports I'm hearing, the Shadowcraft and the Darkmantle set had different proc rates on some of the private servers, so we don't know exactly if these proc rates are going to be the same, and that will change literally everything. So be sure to subscribe and just follow the channel or whatever, watch me on Twitch so I can keep you updated if things are different than what they are today. Alright, and with that said, we can get into the meat of the video. Sorry for the delayed introduction, I just needed to get those things out before we got all into it. Now, the only reason we are looking at the Darkmantle set in general at all is specifically because of this 4-piece set bonus. A chance on melee attack to restore 35 energy instantly. This is massive, and you would actually anticipate this being stronger for daggers because you need more energy for backstabs and things like that, but it is actually slightly more powerful for swords, and that has to deal with the way procs per minute work and different things that can make procs. So sword specialization, double attacks, wind fury, stuff like that can actually cause procs of different abilities, and that also includes causing procs of your tier sets and your bonuses. So to dive right in, I'm going to pull up the sims, and today we're going to use the Bloodmoon spreadsheet. I do have the Garcia one as well, as I've talked about before on my other computers, so I've gone over these things on both of the spreadsheets, but today we're going to do a little more of a dive on some of the numbers instead of the usual me just telling you what's better and why it's better. So I do need you guys to bear with me if you don't like the numbers that much. I will have a conclusion at the end for the most part, but I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible. So right now, looking at the BIS dagger here, you can look at your average being about 1451. This is for a 1-minute fight, so if I want to look for a longer fight, we can, but 1 minute is usually the time of most of the fights. We are also taking into account we're using the Zandalari Madcap's Mantle, so the ZG Shoulders, and Rentaki's Charm of Trigger. This is assuming the BIS in Phase 4, so that means we don't have Earthstrike just yet. So if we switch out those pieces for the best 4 pieces from the Darkmantle set, it'll actually increase our max DPS by about 7 DPS and slightly lower our usual average DPS. So those pieces are going to be the Darkmantle cap, the Darkmantle shoulders, the chest, and the bracers. With this, we're actually breaking up our Bloodfang 3 piece, which is more of a DPS hit for Alliance side because you're losing out on the proc rate for your poisons, but I'm doing this on the Horde side. So for this, we're keeping our Boots of Shadowflame, and we also don't have Earth Strike just yet. This is assuming just the BIS in phase 4. The best pieces from all of the Darkmantle pieces that are always going to be your lowest DPS loss, switching from whatever your BIS was originally, are going to be the helm and the chest piece. Those are the 2 strongest pieces of the Darkmantle gear. Also, the shoulders are your next smallest DPS loss, and then the bracers. So as you can see, already you're getting a DPS increase just from switching to using 4 pieces of the Darkmantle. And in this set, you need to switch back to using a Hodge, which will actually help get that proc rate happen a little bit more. The next combination that could be slightly pretty much the same would be using the ZG shoulders and trinket, and then actually swapping out the belt for the Darkmantle belt instead of the shoulders. So that's up to you, and it will change as soon as you do get Earth Strike though, because then you'll end up using Earth Strike instead of the ZG trinket, and then from there you can obviously use the Darkmantle shoulders back to your Bloodfang belt. So as daggers, in the current situation with your current BIS set, it seems like Darkmantle set will increase your DPS. So you're absolutely looking to get 4 pieces of the Darkmantle set and mix and mash things together right away to automatically increase your DPS moving straight into the new raid. The next thing to think about is, what about fully BIS daggers in phase 5 and beyond? Now, I guess I could pull up the numbers for you, and if you want that, just leave a comment in the description. I will do that. But I feel like it's kind of better at this point to explain things than have you stare at a spreadsheet the entire time. So instead of simming it on screen for you guys against the tier 2.5 set and the BIS pieces from AQ, I can actually just talk to you and tell you about it. The Darkmantle set actually seems to be basically exactly the same DPS as if you're using the BIS pieces from phase 5. This is specifically for daggers. The case actually changes for swords. I'll get to that in a minute. So what that really means is you can use the 4 piece of the Darkmantle set to subsidize yourself as you're getting the full BIS gear. You can actually choose, if you pick and choose and you like the playstyle of getting more energy procs, like you like the RNG, then you can decide that you want to use the Darkmantle set over using your actual full BIS. I would personally suggest using full BIS because you're gonna end up having a lot more survivability and there's a lot less RNG involved. But some people like to play it like by ear. If you're super lucky and you just get crazy amount of procs, you're just gonna have an insane parse. On the other hand, if you get no procs, you're gonna do a lot worse than somebody in normal full BIS. So moving on from there, we can start looking at swords. And for swords in phase 4, I didn't actually make a BIS gear guide for swords in phase 4, and I wish I had, but a lot of people are doing the tests, and originally you thought that 8 of 8 Bloodfang was BIS, and it's not, so whatever. Moving on from there, if you use the Darkmantle set over your 8 of 8 Bloodfang, it is going to be a pretty significant DPS increase. It looks like it's about 25 DPS increase. And from there, if you were rocking your BIS gear, so like the mixing and mashing of the set, then it would still be a slight increase to your DPS if you swap to the Darkmantle set. So the Darkmantle set right now, with the current proc rate we expect it to be, is an upgrade instantly for everyone across the board from their Blackwing Lair BIS. This is huge to note, by the way, guys, because you can instantly go after getting your Darkmantle set. You just need to do the quest lines. You do need to have a lot of different reagents, and it's not a cheap upgrade. You also, of course, do need to have all of your Shadowcraft gear, but instantly you can make a significant upgrade to your gear just by swapping to the Darkmantle set. It's actually crazy. Before looking into it as much as I have now and doing all of the research and all of the numbers, I didn't know that the Darkmantle set was this good. And it really is. Each of the pieces is a DPS loss individually from any of the other BIS pieces, but it is that good when it's put together in their 4-piece set bonus. Moving on from your current BIS in phase 4, we want to look at what is the BIS in phase 5. And phase 5 BIS for sword rogues is amazing because The Death Dealer set from AQ, the 5-piece, gives you 15% increased damage to your eviscerate, which is actually crazy. Obviously, as a dagger rogue, you only use maybe one eviscerate on most fights, but as a sword rogue, you're using eviscerate way more often, so this set bonus is huge for sword rogues. The difference in DPS between using the BIS situation of other pieces and your Darkmantle isn't that huge, but it is big enough for it to mean that you should be using your BIS gear, and that does also come with the added survivability from having extra stamina from the gear. You also take away that RNG aspect, which as swords is a little less scary than as daggers. If you're min-maxing and you're waiting for your weapon swings, as a dagger rogue, you're waiting until you have 60 energy and a weapon swing happens to use an ability, because if you're horde, you don't want to reset your weapon swing with something like Wind Fury. So if you're waiting on that weapon swing and then all of a sudden you get an energy proc from that weapon swing right as it happens, you might actually cap out on energy. So it adds another layer to playing a rogue, especially a dagger rogue, because you will have to watch out more on capping out on your energy. It shouldn't be too much of an issue, but if you do happen to get dodged on that backstab, maybe another energy tick happens while you got dodged, and you're actually missing out on min-maxing and utilizing your energy perfectly. These are the things you need to be aware of. The Darkmantle set is an instant bonus or an instant increase in DPS from using your BIS in phase 4 for both daggers and swords. So you absolutely do want to look into getting them, and right now you should be looking into, if you haven't already, getting all of your Shadowcraft pieces, and as well you do need to get all of the reagents and other pieces that are useful for the quests, and I will make a video about that a little bit later. But you should know that you absolutely do want to look into getting your Darkmantle set. And that's pretty much it, guys. We sought out to find how good exactly is the Darkmantle set. Is it BIS? Is it better than everything we've expected? And honestly, from everything we've done, all of the research, all the numbers we have currently, it looks like this set is going to be absolutely amazing. That being said, one more time, I do need to note for you guys, please be wary, because proc rates can be a lot different than what we expected. We were anticipating Bloodfang 8.8 to have a 10% proc chance, and it's actually more like a 2% proc chance, coming out to be 1 to 2% of people's overall DPS, instead of like 7 to 10% increase to your damage. So there you have it. The Darkmantle set is absolutely something you should be going after, and you should be preparing to get it right now. If you're also going after your Nature Resist set, I did make a guide specifically going over the BIS and the easiest things to get for a Nature Resist set to prepare for phase 5. So I will leave a link actually right up there in the description, or right up there, whatever. Past that, I do again want to mention that I have switched my streaming days to Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Hopefully I can move to being full-time shortly. Things are going so well, but thank you guys so much for tuning into all of those streams and hanging out. If you ever have any questions about Rogue things, or pretty much anything in general, just check it out. Twitch.tv/Sarth, come and hang out, and we always have a good time in there. And of course, lastly, if you did like the content, please like and subscribe. Once again, my name is Sarth. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.